First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
County Executive Anthony Picente standing by on the line right now. Good morning, Tony Picente.
Good morning. I thought I was calling in for Friday. Usually I'm.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. It's.
I wish it was.
Usually I'm on hold for 2 days.
You're right.
So,
We're not gonna let that happen. We're not going to let that happen. I watched your press briefing yesterday, and you started with the positive. It is interesting to hear all of the people that have been vaccinated here, what the numbers are like, and how the pods have been working. But we are slowing down a little bit right now.
Well, we're slowing down. We're seeing, we see a little jump in numbers from different days of the week popping up, and we can credit that with the weather changing, more people doing things, but a little bit of but some carelessness, and still trying to get more people vaccinated, and that's become the struggle over the last couple of weeks, and it's universal. It's not just unique to Oneida County. I spoke to Ryan McMahon yesterday, and even Mark Molinaro and others, and everybody's experiencing the same type of dilemma or struggles, as we're going through these.
Well, Onondaga County had triple-digit increased cases, I think, Sunday into Monday. So
right, yeah, he did, and its positivity rate obviously is climbing up, and with activities like we saw, and things like that happened here, or actually happened in two counties now. Or across county lines. It's the warning sign. Look, it's about the example of what we explained and went through yesterday about how here we are. I think one of the telling pieces, as far as we are into this virus, that this was the biggest and fastest cluster that we've seen. And resulting in, a large number of cases, but then a large number of quarantine,
right,
and self-monitoring, and over the next 10 days. Which that's the message. The message is that this is still there, but the message is also get vaccinated, and especially if you're working with, children.
I heard that
of all ages.
That statement. Or if you're a coach, I completely agree with you. If you're a coach and you're working with children, get vaccinated.
Yeah.
I mean, and it does seem that this is spreading to younger people more so, doesn't it? More so than it did before.
It is. When I look at the daily numbers, as we call them, on the sheets that come through with the positive, first of all, the positive tests, and I'm looking at the date of birth. I just focus on the date of birth, first, and I go through, and I'm seeing, that so many of them are born after the year 2000, and 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, and that's where it gets scary, because that now you're dealing with children who are 8, 9, 10, 11, in those ages where a lot of activities, but a lot of was it spring break? Did they go away? What are the circumstances? And it's just if you are, and that's why while it's none of this is mandatory. I mean, I know that everybody talks about that. I mean, or whatever, but the common sense thing is if you're a coach, we talked about this with high risk sports with the schools. We demanded that in the plans that first at that time it was that they get vaccinated, they get tested, and so if you're doing that, and if you're working with children, and like I said, in all age groups, coaches, instructors, whether it's gymnastics, dance, whatever it is, get vaccinated. Take those precautions and understand that something like this could happen. Whitesboro was doing a great job and still is doing a great job in the school district, but now 300 kids are on quarantine, and then
and their families,
do the math on the families. And
so it is. So we are dealing basically with 300 families,
right?
Dealing with this. That number could be huge. I mean, it is huge.
It could be, and look, if you take the activities that people are used to doing, if it was, whether it's a dance recital or something else that they have gone to, did the grandparents go? Did other parents go? Other family members go. I mean, and so and then the extended piece of all of our families just then becomes the ripple effect.
Yeah.
And that's where we are. And that's why it was more about the lesson of that. Look, this is still, and then, I know Dr. Hall says it every day to you, and it's still there, and it still could be, I guess, violent or at least just spreading the way it is.
This was sloppy, this dance problem. Seemed like not following a lot of the protocols. Also, and I know this is all stuff that we're hearing that's technically unofficial. You probably hear it more officially than we do, but maybe somebody felt sick and they still went forward. I mean, that's what we're getting.
That's another issue. We again, this is an aspect of where symptoms were there.
Yeah.
And some of these, as far as our investigation has shown, and that's the sign that we've been, talking about for a year. I mean, it's not, you just can't, as much as you want to think it's allergies or the common cold. We can't even go down that route right now because you just don't know. And in this case, I think there was more than one student that we're aware of that was symptomatic, and then when you get in the next day 18 to 20 cases, that does tell you that somebody was very symptomatic.
Yeah, and you don't know at this point. You don't know what the way this spreads. You don't know what's coming next. What's coming today or tomorrow. So
no, you don't. I mean, and because again, when just think of the 300 in quarantine. Yeah. So those 300 in quarantine came in contact with, one of these students or the adults. Right. It doesn't matter. I mean, because we had adults that were positive as well. I don't want to this is not just about the children in any way. And so now you have adults who came in contact, and, if you got 300 people in quarantine, chances are there's going to be more cases in there.
Yeah.
So just because of it. So
and it's got to be frustrating too that, especially we're at a point now if you're symptomatic and you're participating in something. That is just so beyond irresponsible at this point.
Well, it is, and it's hard, and look, in other times when whether it was allergies or something, you'd probably participate in a game or something, but. Again, there's other symptoms though, and there's symptoms of, a nausea and loss of, and look, Bill, I don't have to tell you, you went through this.
Yep.
Taste and smell and vomiting or anything else that goes
you start getting those symptoms.
Remember, this is not just and even if it is a 24-hour bug, why would you go and do these?
You're right.
Yeah.
So.
I'm happy not having the 24-hour bug or the common cold, to be honest with you. So,
that's interesting.
Let's keep that going.
So we go. I know.
Okay, so the message is get vaccinated. There are if you are in a position where you want to get vaccinated, you don't have to fight for this anymore. I mean, remember what it was like before? We were, it was like it became an Olympic event getting somebody a vaccine. Now
it did.
It's completely changed.
And I think part. Was, and I said this yesterday, and I said it before, that the segmenting of the vaccine, I think, slowed down this process a little bit and the urgency, because I think there's the group that, and I point to, and it's not just singling out one group over another, but the age group that we see that has been, I guess, whether it's reluctance or otherwise, is that 25 to 45.
Yeah.
Age group that, again, they're the ones that have young children, in activities. And, I know that, the belief is, well, we haven't gotten it to date. We're doing okay. We got a lot of stuff going on, and all is well. Well, this is an example of which that's not the case.
And the fact of the matter, at least we believe what we believe on this virus, and what Dr. Hall has talked about, is that the longer it's allowed to linger out there, the more opportunity it has to create, to mutate, and a variant is created. And it could be that, a variant gets created that does put kids in the hospital. And I think we want to try to avoid that. And the faster we all get vaccinated, the better off we're all going to be, I think.
Well, yeah, and we've got to look at those numbers again, because as I said, the children numbers are going up, which we didn't see. And is that to the experts and Dr. Hall, is that what's happening? And it looks that way, and so that's all the more reason to, if you're, for parents and adults, and we're going to start seeing what kids over 16 as much as we can vaccinate as well. So we're doing that, and hopefully we'll get many of them.
Kathy in Rome has a quick question. Kathy, you're on with the county executive.
Yes, good morning. I have a quick question. I was traveling on County Route 50 between Greenway and Verona Mills. There is a small cemetery. It looks like it's not, that it's quite abandoned. There is a great big evergreen tree that has been uprooted, and it's down, and it's hit some of the stones in the cemetery. And there's other trees that look like they're coming down. I was wondering if somebody could look into, the care of the cemetery. I certainly would. Me and my son, could volunteer to help clean up. There are veterans buried in the cemetery. So I didn't know if you could look into maybe the county could do some tree removal or something.
Well, let's see if those trees are on our county routes, and if they are, obviously that's our responsibility. And I'll talk to the supervisor out there and see who runs that cemetery and what we can do. We'll definitely take a look at it. Thank you.
And then,
Great.
Kathy, maybe we can, we're going to talk to Tony again on Friday. Maybe we can update you on Friday. So
thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
County Executive, we appreciate the time.
Okay.
We'll talk again on Friday, but again, the message is clear. There are vaccine appointments available. Get out there and get it done.
Real quick, Bill, the other thing we said yesterday, the vaccine, we have them are scheduled on our website. We also mentioned for employers, businesses, organizations, 10 or more will come there and do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what is that? And I hope you have this off the top of your head, because I don't have it written down here. There's a number. If you're elderly or shut in, the county is working to find a way to get those people taken care of when it comes to this vaccine. What is that number? Do you have it?
Sure, yes, I do. 315-798-5439.
Yeah, that's a great service, because at one point during all of this, we were in the middle of this pandemic that was tough to get to these people.
It was.
Now you guys are able to, if they can reach out to you and tell you who they are.
We did a tremendous amount of homebound shots over the last few weeks, which, through that line, and obviously we had, started getting seniors out to those sites early on, but we began doing more homebound, and that's worked out great. So we're still doing that.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Tony Picente.
Thank you.
Right.
Take
Have
care.
a great day. Did you write that number down?
No.
Darn it all.
I think it's on our.
Yeah,
I think it's on our website.
I just want people to know that if you know of someone who's not able to get out and is trying to figure out how to maneuver through this, that phone number, you call and the county will assist you. And whether it be getting you into a site for a vaccine or getting the vaccine to you, they'll bring it to you.
Here is the number.
Okay, now I'm going to write it down so I have it.
Sorry about that. 315.
I'm feeling very elderly today.
315.
Okay.
798 5439.
Okay.
That number again, 315 798 5439.